Think back a few years, maybe a few decades. It was the year of glass block or linoleum, maybe the fuzzy toilet covers that nobody could really explain. Today, we're talking about design trend fails, things that we did in our homes that didn't make it out of their decade.
Thanks for tuning in to the Realtor Moms podcast. I'm Tasha.
And I'm Jamie. We're full-time realtors in the FM and surrounding areas and admittedly average moms. This is how we sell homes
and try to keep our kids alive. As promised, Jamie and I are back today to talk about design trend fails. Those things that just flat out failed. There's no other way to put it.
Well, and they had their glory day too, right?
Yes, they did.
Some of this stuff was defined the decades that they were brought out about.
Yes. So that's what we're talking about today. So why don't you go ahead, Jamie? What's the first thing on our list?
I think the first thing that people think of when they think about old house design, or not old, but like things gone past, is shag carpet.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's shag carpet and wood paneling.
Yep. 70s and 80s in its glory.
Yeah. The stuff that you could get a rake and actually legitimately rake it. It was so long.
Oh, let's not joke though. Shag carpet did try to come back in the early 2000s,
disguised
to mid-2000s
as a frisé. I believe we called it
frisé, like the beige in all its glory. Mm-hmm. It should have never came back, but it tried.
And a lot of us have it, and that's okay.
I mean, it was in my first house. Not that I wanted it; it just was.
Right.
But, it just should have died right then and there in the 70s and 80s. Just should have. No
and
time.
Wood paneling. I mean, if we're talking about it, wood paneling is kind of coming back in its own way, too.
Yes, shiplap.
I do really like shiplap. It has a lot of great applications, like when you're covering up plaster or as an accent wall, and you never know.
But we're not talking about shiplap today. What we are talking about is that brown wood paneling that's vertical.
And
even basements,
darker brown stripes. It ends up in black, like half of the basements in the United States of America. Exactly. I swear.
Oh man,
good stuff.
Yes.
How about matching the curtains and the sofa fabric?
Oh, yes.
Like straight out of the Sears
Floral
catalog.
Designs many times. Or it could it could be pastel colors. Many pastels as well.
Or the sofa, the sofa with the orange floral motif that we talked about in our last podcast.
Yes. Like the 80s-esque.
Yes.
Like
velvety, tufted back.
Correct.
that everybody had.
Actually, we were looking at photos, and Jamie and I just picked out distinctly similar but different versions of that we had in our own houses when we were growing up.
There had to have only been like 2 furniture manufacturers or 2 fabric manufacturers in the 80s or whenever those sofas came out. Maybe it was the 70s. I don't know, and those suckers, they didn't die. You could spill anything on them. It blended right in.
Oh, yeah. If there was anything that could potentially be kid-proof, it would be those couches.
Totally.
I swear.
Right?
But let's move on, and let's talk about those avocado green, harvest gold, and then the rust oranges.
Oh. Yes, the appliances.
The countertops.
Kitchen cabinets.
The
carpeting.
Carpet.
It was the flooring. Oh my! It was everywhere.
Exactly.
It definitely defined an era.
Oh yes, it did.
And now we have gray or brown. But anyway, we're not talking about now.
We're not talking about now.
We're talking about then.
We're talking about then, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about the dusty pastels or
dusty,
the colorings that were all over, like
the floral motifs. Heck, my grandma. Oh gosh, I love my grandma. She's everything to me, but she picked out one of those dusty motifs. But it's, light white with the pastel flowers, pink and lavender and blue, and that sucker is still lasting. Mm-hmm. It is still in her couch, and it looks like it's been sat on maybe 10 times.
Right? We said, they lasted forever. And speaking of those color palettes too, sponge painting the walls.
Oh gosh, then that's straight up 90s/2000s.
It is. That definitely had a little bit later arrival when everybody started chopping up their sponges or rag rolling.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, there was rag rolling on the walls. Good times.
Oh yeah, glad that these things have failed.
How about in the kitchen, the tile countertops. There was a time.
Oh, yes.
The tile countertops, and they were small. I don't know, like 4x4 rectangular tiles.
And I even remember some, 80s that were larger.
Oh, sure, like a little bit larger, maybe rectangular shaped.
Correct.
These things, can you imagine trying to keep a countertop
With grout.
Bacteria-free?
And clean.
No.
And usable. It's just not how.
Right.
How do you do this?
You don't. You absolutely don't.
Oh my gosh.
Next on the list.
Water beds. Water beds.
She's been waiting to say that.
Yes. I mean, they're awful in all the ways that you'd imagine. And why did we do that? Why as a society did we think it was good to sleep on a
I don't know.
water? It is not comfortable.
On a puddle.
You can't
An encapsulated
turn over.
puddle.
You cannot turn over without waking up your spouse. This is not something that works well. I mean,
yeah,
no,
I don't know.
No.
Right. Would it have a ripple effect? Like if I roll over in the night, would Eric float away in the waves? I don't really know. I never, my parents had a waterbed, I'm pretty sure, for a little while. I think everybody's somebody did. Grandma,
Exactly.
mother, sister, uncle, whatever.
But what happens
Waterbeds existed.
when you poked a hole in it? Or it
you're
leaked?
always worried about that. Don't sit on the bed if you've got a pen in your pocket or a pocket knife or whatever people carry around in their pockets. Everybody was always worried about puncturing that waterbed.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's never go back there.
No, let's not ever.
How about sunken living rooms?
And tubs. Oh, yes.
Now there's a broken ankle waiting to happen.
Oh, yes. Why was this a good idea?
I don't know. It was a lowered conversation area. You felt more intimate, maybe? How did you find furniture to fit in these little areas?
I don't know. All I can imagine, and I'm very thankful for the fact that I raised my kids with no sunken living rooms or tubs, because I'm just thinking about how did you raise your child without dying?
Well, how did you wash a baby in a tub that was sunken? Did you just lay on your belly on the floor and lean over?
I don't know.
I don't
These
know
are
either.
Things, I just know that my children probably would have ended up with broken necks. Not that, how awful.
Slips, trips, and falls.
I guess maybe 80s kids and 70s kids are more resilient. I don't know.
Because of the sunken tubs. Carpeted bathrooms. I guess that worked against the sunken tub. Because if your bathroom was carpeted, maybe you were less likely to slip.
Who's to say? But why? Ew, gross.
I feel like they carpeted everything. Remember the cozy around the toilet? The little fuzzy toilet topper and around the... Why? Who needs a toilet cozy? I don't know, but they still sell those, even though they're entirely unnecessary.
Oh, yes. Let's talk about...
Get a little more modern.
Get a little bit more into the 90s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Tuscan kitchens. Oh, why?
Leave it in Italy, folks.
Yes.
It had its moment. Everybody was making pasta al dente. I don't know, but the Tuscan kitchen thing was definitely had its moment, and it is moved
they
on.
even had decor with all the peppers and grapes and all the things
wine
to
glass
go along.
motif.
Yes, with it. Why?
Speaking of motifs.
Oh, you got to go with this one.
The
Jen.
nautical
She's
motif.
been waiting to share this one with you all day.
So except for lake houses, which I can totally respect if you have something water related, go ahead. Put your anchors up. Throw your buoys out. Mount your fish. That's fine.
But sailboats.
The miniature sailboat thing.
In the middle.
Of the coffee table.
Oh, yeah.
In the living room.
When
in
we
Fargo,
live
North Dakota.
in the Midwest.
I'm not feeling it.
Well, I will laugh. I feel like a boat for your birthday is in your future.
No.
A little miniature one.
That's it. You're disinvited. Do not. Don't you dare. And look, we want to say too, a little bit of anything is fine, right? A little bit of nautical if you love nautical. A throw pillow, a blanket, maybe a print on the wall. That's fine. Just don't go overboard.
Yeah, don't make it the entire room designed.
Right.
Don't. Just don't.
Here's one that is still haunting many of us today, and it's not the worst in the world, but everybody...
It does age a home.
A lot of people talk about it, not everybody. Popcorn ceilings, they're kind of a bummer, right? It definitely shows. It's like wrinkles. You know it's there. It's going to happen. You just wish it wasn't, and it's an awful lot of work to get rid of them.
Oh, yes.
But it can be done. But yeah, popcorn ceilings.
Yeah, definitely.
For years and years and years.
glass blocks.
Yeah.
We used to see it all the time.
Showers, glass block showers.
You'd see them windows to the showers.
I was just going to say that. Windows between the master bedroom and the shower.
Exactly.
No.
That
doesn't. That's totally and entirely unnecessary.
Yes, completely unnecessary. Not to
and
be
I guess in their defense, whoever they are that installed glass block in their master bathroom shower, in their defense, we have now gone to just straight up clear glass showers. So I guess privacy is a thing of the past anyway. So who knows? Maybe it's just a matter of time before the window comes back.
Maybe. And I will laugh as certain trends that we are talking about today, they come back in a new way or a new...
They do.
Everything kind of finds its way back.
It's true.
So,
in
just
different
like
ways. Fashion and everything else, even home interior design, I feel like it's quote-unquote reinvented.
Reinvented
really,
in a
it's
new
just
way.
kind of rehashed of the old.
Yes.
Not like we're coming up with any ideas, so we do not mean to offend.
No.
And ultimately, if any of these are things that you love, by all means,
you got to do what you
do what you love.
Do what you love. Do what you love, but certainly do not, you know, sometimes there's a time and a place for everything. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing to add.
Yes.
But we do have one last thing on our list that Jamie and I see on a routine basis where we both were like, yes, we are adding. It's got to go and we have to add it.
Ringing the bell. We're ringing the bell on the time clock for...
Don't shoot the messengers on this one, but it's time.
It's live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
The stickers
has to go.
On the walls have to go.
Especially when it's like, it looks like it was painted, but it's a sticker. No, don't do that. Please don't do that.
I know, it's time is up. And like we were just saying, if you love it, who cares what we think? By all means, who cares what we think? You do you. And we certainly enjoy and appreciate the sentiment. Live, laugh, and love. How could there be anything more important? But as a design trend.
But it was overdone.
It was overdone, unfortunately.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when things are overdone, then it really can timestamp a period where you just don't.
Loses its luster.
Loses its luster, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's important when you're designing your home for you to live in and enjoy and love. And I'm using love, and that's the funny part.
Don't worry about us laughing. No.
But really just think about what works for you. But these are the items that Jamie and I have seen, talked about, laughed about, and some things have just got to go.
They didn't make it out of their decade.
No.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening. Just think, you could hear from us every day if we were your realtors.
So give us a call or shoot us a text, send a smoke signal, or find us on Facebook. However you do it, just reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And be sure to subscribe. Find more episodes at realtormomspodcast.com or iTunes.
This podcast is produced by Tasha Barrett and Jamie R. Swenson of Park Company Realtors, 4170 41st Avenue South, Fargo, North Dakota.